Say, what's happening, YouTube? This is my Loki episode number 1 review. And in a few minutes, some of the fellas are supposed to be coming up in here. But as you can see, we got Marvel Girl down here who won't go anywhere, that wants to get picked up. Now she wants to know what's going on and she wants to see what we're doing. Say hey to the people, L. Say hey. You want to wave at the people? Yeah, wave at the people. Say hey. Hey, definitely going to be a Marvel girl. I just put a picture on a video on the gram the other day where she stole Captain America's shield and tried to turn it into a merry-go-round. Hey, baby. But in any event, how many of you people saw Loki? Loki is the third of all the TV series to come out from Disney Plus. And man, it was amazing. For me, this was the best start they've had so far. I like this first episode a lot better than I did WandaVision. I liked it even better than I liked Falcon and Winter Soldier. And look who we got in here. We got old Larry, the living legend, is in the building. Big Larry, how you feeling?
How you doing, man? Sorry, Leia. I just walked in the house, so.
Oh, it's all good, bro. I mean, man. Elle was co-hosting for a little while.
Oh man, you mean she was hosting? You were co-hosting. Once she gets on there, it's all her.
Yeah, man, that's exactly what she was doing. She was hosting, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got it kicked off. We've got the living legend in the building, and right now we're getting these numbers up. We've got 21 people in here. Can we get 21 likes? And let me shout out some of these 21 people because y'all are my hardcore people. Y'all are the ones that hold me down when everybody else won't let me rise. We've got Buzz703 in the building. We got my young folk, Alec, Judy in the building. Muchella's in the building. Carbro's in the building. Ernest is in the building. Buzz is in the building. Tim, who's been with me from day one when my video was only getting 20 views, is in the building.
Tim Windsor is ride or die, man. That dude shows up to every one of my videos and leaves a kind comment, man. And YouTube comments that are filled with hate and belligerence, he always comes through with a kind comment, man.
Right. And you know what? Buzz does too. Mark Guy does too. And Will Lawrence. We're rocking with you, my brothers. And before we get started, I just really want to just thank you guys because it frustrates me and Larry to no end that we do our content on Black-based shows, yes. But we also do content on the MCU and the DCU universes. And for some reason, people just seem to fall away from it when these things tend to have storylines that can be, my excuse for everyone is always a little bit more complex in the storylines. You know, other people say nicer things. That's as nice as I'm going to get it. But I'm grateful. I'm very grateful for you all that are watching right now. And just do me a favor, even more than just liking the video and subscribing to me and Larry's channel, share these videos because we want to grow. Yes. Hell, there's a huge Black community out there that's in the comments, in the Kung Fu. Hell, we've been holding this down from day one. From the first comments that was written, we was in it. So let that group know that there's people out here that want to cater to their needs. And having said that, Larry, let's dive on into it. But before
can I give shout out to Ernest Holloway? I just want to say, Ernest, I have a prize that he won on my channel. And I want to tell him it got returned back to me. I want to tell him I still have it, and I'm going to get that back out to him. So I just want to give that a quick show note out there.
Yep, no doubt. And one other thing, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into it, my mentor, one of my fitness mentors that counseled me when I was 325 pounds. This is his daughter, Lydia Laws. I want you all on June 14th to go vote for her because she is in Muscle and Fitness Hers magazine. Whoever gets the most votes wins $20,000. And as you can see, just looking at her, you should know that her daddy is a fitness guru. Because
you see her calves?
Yeah, man, that chick, she's amazing,
the most
man.
Dense muscle in the body, and that's like, geez, calves is like it's like a big melon on her leg.
Yeah, man, this chick is badass, man. So y'all be sure. The link is in video description. Go vote for her on June 14th. I will be mentioning her a lot. Her daddy meant a whole lot to me. She's meant a lot to me. I got a chance to see her grow as I was on my journey and now she's trying to do big things. So be sure to go click that link in the video description and give that sister a vote. Before we move on, we got the big homie who dropped some great reviews. The big homie down in Texas. Just My Opinion reviews. B. Avery is in the house. My brother B. Avery, how is you feeling?
You're off to the side a little bit. Uh-oh, he's muted.
Oh boy. Oh man.
He's working it out though. He's getting it in.
Okay. There when you get a chance, brother, unmute yourself.
He's just a little hot. He's just a little hot because he's still rocking his sweatshirt.
Right. I was trying to take I hopped on the live earlier with one take or whatever, and I'm still recovering from that. So sorry I'm late.
Oh, it's all good, brother.
Sorry I'm late.
No, man. Look, we don't do that here. When you family on this channel, you can come and go as you please. You know, you can bring your woman, you can bring your uncle, you can bring your daddy. And feel free on this channel. This is the people's channel, B. Avery. You here to come in whenever you get ready.
Nice.
You're people's. Just don't stab yourself with an ice pick time. But I'm people's.
Right on.
He ain't gonna do that. Let me shout out these super chats, man. Bro, I appreciate that support for a variety of content. Yes, we do that on this channel. Variety. And we have variety.
Legit person,
He's legit, man. He's
legit.
It's
a she, I believe. Carbro's a woman, I believe.
Oh,
yeah. A Canuck even. Way up there up north, a Canuck.
Oh my goodness, Carbro, don't stab me. Please don't. Please don't. Then my big brother Buzz 703. The guys in the stream got your back. Yes, y'all do got the back.
703.
And we appreciate it, man. And I appreciate you guys. Whenever I bring guests like B. Avery, y'all support them. They always come back and say they've seen such and such supporting them. And I am very, very grateful. Let's get into this, man. B. Avery, I want to get your initial thoughts before we dive into the official review. Just give me your quick 2-minute synopsis, then we'll go deep into
it. This first episode, before I say that, even though I like Loki, I cannot say that I was just like over the moon for this series. I was looking forward to it. I thought it would be decent, but I wasn't just like super excited, salivating at the mouth. So that was my expectations going in. From beginning to end, I absolutely loved this first episode. I thought it was absolutely perfect. As soon as it started off going back to New York, I was like, man, this is brilliant. And then just the way it ended, it was a nice bookend, but also kind of a cliffhanger because you're like, oh, it ends this way. I can't wait to see what happens next. And just everything in between, man. The development that we got from Loki, and we'll get into the details, of course, because I've seen some sides of him I haven't before. But it was just so much information and world building that I did appreciate. And just one episode, it was just so much expansion, between with everything we have coming. Between great characters. So yeah, I absolutely love the episode. I thought it was pretty much flawless.
Oh man, look, I don't know if you saw me trying to contain my geekgasm, but bruh, oh good Lord, Larry, go ahead, man. I'm so ready to talk about this. Go ahead, Larry, because boy, woo,
yeah, man. Woo. Just from a storytelling standpoint, I think they did such a good job of presenting a Loki to us that we really can grow to like and love even. And even though Loki is in a lot of ways a very bad guy, a villain in a lot of ways, you're left. They just did a brilliant job of making you empathize and sympathize with him so that you want to like him, and you kind of have to remind yourself, Loki's a bad dude, but you're kind of like, is he? You're like, I know he's a bad dude, but is he? I don't know. I mean,
Larry, this is right up your alley. You like these guys. You like these guys where you can't tell whether they good or bad. He's right up your alley.
I love complicated characters. I love it when people don't treat us like we are imbeciles and can't think through stuff. I love when people challenge our intellect and our emotions and our morality with these shows like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. For me, I was sending you guys DMs on the first 15 minutes, like, boy, if if the show lasts like 50 minutes, right? If this was someone trying to have his first date with a woman, she would have called me a minute man. Because them first 15 minutes, my mind was blown. Like I was, man. Oh my! The way they touched on every part that us geeks know was so good, and the way that they kept the story contained for those who don't know the comics was so good. It was like they just put everything together, and all the theories and the Easter eggs that was loaded in this thing. It was just, you can't watch it one time. And so I was just over the moon with it. I already said to people, it was my favorite of the 3 series we've seen so far from Disney Plus. This episode 1 was my absolute favorite. And ladies and gentlemen, I bring in another good brother y'all need to go see. It's my man, One Take. He's in the building.
Yes, sir.
What's up?
Big dog.
And then pulled out the Marvel shirt. Oh,
yeah. I had to, had to come looking prepared, like I know what I'm talking about today.
Right. So, One Take, give us your 1-minute synopsis. Then we're going to go ahead and start diving into this thing and picking it apart.
My synopsis, okay. Yeah. Loki grabs a tesseract, does something he doesn't supposed to, gets captured by some higher beings. They put him on punishment. Loki has to realize that. Okay, I don't want to go too much too into detail, but Loki has to realize has a coming to Jesus moment with himself, and then they need his help. So yeah, and overall, I love this first episode. It's probably my favorite first episode out of these Marvel's Disney Plus shows so far.
Definitely was for mine. Before we open this thing, I'm going to show you guys a clip that is a clip I consider to bring together the old heads who's read the comics and the new heads. And Marvel does this so well by letting you know the background of how they're doing their stories based on the source material of the comics and to how it transitions into the MCU. So take a quick look at this. And by the way, if you're seeing this tomorrow, this clip you're probably not going to see because I am going to have to pull it down. But when you come to the live show, damn it, you get entertainment like this on the live show, which is another reason you should come. And subscribe to One Take's channel too. Here we go.
I'm Miss Minutes, and it's my job to catch you up before you stand trial for your crimes. So let's not waste another minute. Settle in, sharpen your pencils, and check this out. Long ago, there was a vast multiversal war. Countless unique timelines battled each other for supremacy, nearly resulting in the total destruction of, well, everything. But then the all-knowing timekeepers emerged, bringing peace by reorganizing the multiverse into a single timeline, the sacred timeline. Now, the timekeepers protect and preserve the proper flow of time for everyone and everything. But sometimes people like you veer off the path the timekeepers created. We call those variants. Maybe you started an uprising or were just late for work. Whatever it was, stepping off your path created a nexus event, which left unchecked could branch off into madness, leading to another multiversal war. But don't worry, to make sure that doesn't happen, the timekeepers created the TVA and all its incredible workers.
I would have sitting back enjoying that, man. Like I seen it for the first time again,
B. Avery, I'm telling you, if we talking about geek gals, I had already done nutted by then. I done lost all of it. Y'all had done took everything, every ounce of me just at that point because they just basically explained to you the background. They gave you Ms. Minutes. They talked about the Nexium, which was associated with Scarlet Witch in her series and what she can do. They talked about they gave you everything you needed to know. And then they tied it in as to how this next phase of Marvel is going to be transversing multiverses and Doctor Strange's multiverse of madness. Man, whoo, boy, I was done.
Yeah, and I'm usually just not the fan of just giant exposition dumps, but this one was perfect. It was flawless, you know. Like
Perfect.
I loved it, you know.
Right, because it wasn't too long, wasn't too short. They covered what they need to cover, and they done it in an entertaining manner. I got to give them credit for that.
Exactly.
So I'm going to come to you first, Larry. We're just going to start from the very beginning on this thing. B. Avery hit on it a little bit. They start out in 2012, and they go back to the scene where we saw Loki grab the Tesseract, and he disappeared somewhere. Well, we find out where his ass went at. he went over here where these people were to their native home, and then all of a sudden, boom, TVA comes after his ass. Larry, you get first crack on the opening scene. What you like, what you didn't like, go for it.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's so fun when you see them pull out like clips from the old movie, and you get to see things from all these different perspectives, you know. Because in this movie, you know, where normally you see it from like one perspective in the movie, and then all of a sudden you get to see it from a different point of view and what really happened. And I mean, that was crazy. Dude just like grabbed that thing and ended it. What was he, like 15th century Mongolia or something like that?
He was in Mongolia. He was in Mongolia, man. Like,
it was crazy.
Larry, I'm sitting here saying to myself, if you're going to time jump, can you go back to 1698 and stop the slave trade for African Americans in America? That's what I'm sitting here like. Come on, Loki. Yeah.
You know? I mean, that was dope. But when they came through those, you know, those time doors, whatever they called them, it was just so dope. But one thing I want to know is, if Ruby can walk through time like that and she's up there, well, why didn't she do something with Hippolyta? You know?
Oh my God. Oh,
why didn't Ruby stop Hippolyta?
Golly, man, damn it, Larry. Here you go. The Lovecraft cut. Look,
I was saying, if we're going to tie stuff in, I'm tying all kinds of stuff in there.
Right. B. Avery, you get the floor next. One take, we coming to you after that. B. Avery, break down this opening scene, what you like, what you didn't like.
There was nothing in it that I did not like. I liked it all. I thought it was perfect to start on the Tesseract. When I first saw it, I was like, oh yeah, we're starting here. You know, and like he went to Mongolia, and it was just funny. He's like, Loki runs up on the rock, you know, I am Loki, blah blah blah. They're like, bro, who are you? You know what I'm saying? You know, this is,
I got you. I got you,
this is our land, you know. But then unfortunately, their existence got deleted. But I thought it was really cool when Wumi hit him with the baton and like knocked him back into like 16th speed of time or something like that. Yeah, and had him shook.
That was great.
You know? But earlier I was saying that, like, you know, I think Loki still may have been able to do something against her, but you know, his cockiness got in the way, you know, because he should still have his powers on this side of the universe. So that's interesting. But I loved it. Even how they transitioned over to the TVA and the little bomb they left. But yeah, it was a perfect opening to me. No complaints at all.
And one take, give me your thoughts on the opening.
Oh yeah, I loved it too. To echo what B. Avery said, I think it's all just a part of Loki's character flaw, like that overconfidence. Loki could have easily either left at that point. He's literally standing on a rock talking to 5 people that don't even understand what he's saying. Are you trying to conquer the land of sand with 5 people? Like that does not matter. It's just like, dude, like you have better things that you just escaped the Avengers. You trying to rule over 5 people probably looking for some water? Like, get out of there, go find something else to do. And like the TVA showing up and knocking some sense into him, that was great as well, because I'm like, you kind of you looking at them like, how are they going to be able to handle Loki? Well, Loki, being the idiot that he is at times, quickly get knocked into 16th of a speed. I mean, of a second, and that scene was hilarious. His lips just flabbering. I'm like, yeah, this is excellent, bro. Like this opening scene was magnificent for me.
Man,
you know, it's so funny that you mentioned one take is that he's up there and he jumps on this rock, and I'm like, this dude was just literally about to be taken away by the Avengers, gets tossed through time by the Tesseract, and the first thing he does is he looks around and says, "Oh, let me get on this rock right quick and proclaim my greatness." I'm like, this dude, man.
It's ridiculous.
Bruh. Yeah, I was just in awe, man. It was so good. I was about to go get me some popcorn, a sheet. It was gonna look like a rom-com up in my house, man. The way I was about to set stuff up, I was just floored by this stuff. And I'm sitting up here thinking to myself, a lot of the quotes that we love from the MCU comes from Loki. And we got a lot of those quotes back in here. This fool hops on the rock, still talking about glorious purpose and all that bull jive. And them people's like, a bula bula bula. What you talking about, bro?
Yeah.
Like, you just appeared here and you standing on the rock, waving your hands and stuff. And I think they also was trying to show just the power of the Minutemen by the mere fact that they could punch Loki, and it actually hurt him. Because remember, we've seen Loki in the Avengers fight Captain America, and he had a hard time laying a dent on him. Mm-hmm. When the Minutemen hit him with their battalions, it was like, bruh, not only we hitting you, but we're going to slow it down so that you feel this for a minute while we strap you up so that your powers can't work. So I was like, transition.
Yeah.
And now that we on that, B. Avery, I'm coming to you next. So you know I got to talk about this because the love I have for Larry and you brothers and understanding that you guys have that mentality of science and technology. Can we talk about the damn tech that these guys got, these Minutemen? You've got this thing that reverses time. You've got this thing that dampens magic. You've got the thing they wear on their wrist. And you also got their little time thingy that reverses them backwards. B. Avery, take the wheel, my brother.
Yeah, man. That's something I talked about like every time I've spoken of this episode is like I love all these devices and new technology that we're seeing. And even when you go further in the episode, Loki thought it was all magic, but it's just not. I mean, these are just like regular devices. It's not even a big deal to them. Like, oh, this is the so-and-so device or the so-and-so bomb. It's just like a thing, and it can do all these amazing feats. But it's pretty cool visually that we're looking at right there when that goes off, how it just wipes away existence,
Right.
Like, I don't think, I mean, of course, we've seen stuff being blown to smithereens before, but like being erased, well, we got the dust, but that looked different visually. So I don't know. This was just cool. I would hate to get hit with that baton that he got hit with and have that collar around my neck. But yeah, man, it just goes to show that we ain't seeing nothing yet, and there's so much more that's coming down the pipeline.
One take. Talk about the tech and how you feeling about it.
It just basically the reason I like the tech is because it kind of just basically shows that as advanced and as great as we think these characters are, they're really nothing. When they get when one of the most powerful villains in all of Marvel get took down by a stick, a necklace, and look like a hourglass. Like that's like these are three things.
Man, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. That's so disrespectful of that type of technology. My man said it looked like a damn hourglass. Look at that, Larry.
Look at that. Like, come on.
It looked like a camping lantern.
Can I order one on Amazon?
If you can, you'll be one of the toughest people on the planet. But it's crazy because I think that just lets you know how big a scale that it actually is, and everything that we've seen thus far means nothing. And it's not as great as we thought it was.
No, Larry, you the tech guy. Speak on it, my brother. I know this gave you an orgasm because you the tech man.
I was loving the tech, but I have a couple of questions. One is that neck band they put on him, is that the same technology that we saw in Deadpool? Because they did the same thing. They put those bands around their neck that neutralized their powers. And I want to know if that's the same tech.
I would say it's more like the ones they put on Thor in Ragnarok. When he got sit down there with the whatever his name was, I can't think of Jeff Goldblum's character, but I would say it's more like that.
And the other thing is, I want to know is when that little lantern thing blows up, can someone that's a Nexus being somebody like Wanda, can she withstand that? Would she be erased too, or is her powers on a different level? She's not going to be affected.
No, she's not going to be affected at all, because they was basically saying, don't let Loki fool you into thinking he's Nexus level power, because he's not. The reason they jumped on his butt was because he grabbed that Tesseract and he was deviating from the straight line of the verse that they put in place. But someone like a Wanda, she has power without anything helping her to augment reality and things of that nature. So
that seems to me like those two would be natural allies.
Who that? Wanda and
Loki.
Nah, she ain't. No, she ain't fooling with no Loki.
She too advanced.
He might not be the one, but I think he might want to fool with her.
Yeah, he definitely want to fool with her, but she ain't fooling with him. She definitely want to fool. He definitely want to get his hands on her, but nah, she ain't doing nothing. She ain't doing nothing. All right, fellas. One take, you're gonna go first on this one. So they come and they capture Loki. They got him. And this is our first time seeing the Citadel at the end of time. And they're just basically taking us through. We're seeing the city. We see that the TVA also has Skrulls working with them. And they're introducing, you see that Skrull right there?
That.
How y'all miss that too? How y'all miss that? How y'all miss the Skrull?
I feel bad.
How y'all like that? I didn't see that.
I still can't see. Hold on, go back.
That's a Skrull.
You sure?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Look at his
ear. It do kind of look like one, but okay.
Yeah, that's a Skrull. They had a Skrull in the TVA. They had a little bit of all the life forms. I should have took some more screenshots, but I didn't. A little bit of all kinds of life forms in there working with the TVA. So one take, I want to ask you: did you like the way they made the Citadel at the end of time look, and their agents that they have in the TVA, which includes Skrulls?
Lamar, I'm gonna be honest. You kind of like caught me completely off guard.
But that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? That's the sign of a good damn host. That's what I do.
That is. Oh man, this kind of just opened things up even more, because I wonder, like, how did he get there? How did he get this job? Was he somebody who deviated from the file? And now that they just so happen to keep him around instead of putting him back in the timeline, now my mind's going a whole bunch of different places, which is good. I mean, good job on you. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm kind of like Loki now. I'm like a phase. I'm blown away. I don't know what's going on. Like the world, up is down, left is right. I think first of all, the look of the Citadel, is stunning. Man, it's stunning. And Loki, in his mind, he thinks like, I thought y'all didn't have match. Like, nah, bro, this is just a high level of technology that you didn't even know existed. Exactly. So that's okay. You want to flex on me? Cool. All right. You know what I'm saying? I've been living in like the normal world. Of course, I'm not gonna know what all this is. So I think I like that. I like that whole concept in general. Just the overall scope of things, and somebody we know who's of a higher echelon of power getting placed in there and realizing, man, there is way much more to this than I ever realized.
Yeah, Larry, I'm gonna come to you, but let me comment on one take. All of us like the comics. Some of us go back to the comic books. Some of us go back to the cartoons they did in the early editions. But MCU is bringing this stuff all together. For no matter when you started in Marvel Comics, you can pick up on what they're doing just by the way they're trying to tell these stories. And I thought that the Citadel was just absolutely amazing. The only other thing that I've liked as much as the Citadel was Wakanda, and it looked absolutely amazing in that same vein. So, Larry, I'm coming to you, man. How you feel about it?
Man, first of all, I love what's his name, Mobius, and the way he was just so blasé about it, just like, oh yeah, this is it. This is what it is, Yeah,
man. He's tough.
Like all of it, and just like Owen Wilson plays that character so well. Like this, it was like, I mean, whoever cast him did a genius job putting him in that role, and it's just. But the way he reacts to Loki, and he's just when he's talking to him about this, and he's sort of like, and he even says, "No, man, I'm a fan of yours." Later on, but it's like this whole thing with their interaction together between them two. He's like, "Dude, I admire what you are, what you do, what you have to work with, and what you've done, and but." It's just, I don't know. I look at that and it is amazing when you look at the technology in there. It is absolutely amazing. And like Lamont said, I think the only thing that comes too close to it is seeing Wakanda. And I'm not sure if everybody else feels the same way, but I think as Black people, seeing Wakanda has a more probably gives us more of the feels than just that. Just
okay, I'm with that. B. Avery. It's all on you, my brother. But the picture I'm putting up for you is this one, because I can't believe you missed the scroll.
Yeah, man.
Super chat.
You got a super chat too.
Oh, hold on. Let me see, because boy. Oh, Kato, be more careful, boy. I'm glad y'all saw that. Let me shout out the homegirl, Sweet November, and she's coming through when hell it's June. She says, "Hi guys, late to the chat, but here is 20 for baby L Piggy Bank, and it's gonna go right into her stocks. Love seeing strong women of color in Loki. Good first episode, and we're gonna talk about a couple of them strong women of color, because one of them is Kane's girlfriend, which we know is Jonathan Majors, and we will get to that in a minute. So appreciate that, Sweet November."
Did we get did you get what's E-Man super chat earlier?
Yeah, I got him. He said he's gonna jump on when he gets done feeding his kids.
Okay, I'm just checking, because E-Man tried to out me and try to put out there that I'm a variant, and I'm trying to stay on the low because I'm not trying to have the TVA come pick me up, man.
Yes, we are.
Oh Lord. B. Avery.
Yeah.
The floor is yours, my brother.
Well, first, real quick, man, the Citadel, like you said, I thought it was immaculate. It was perfect. But I also like that it's different from any other advanced civilization that we've seen, whether it's in Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain Marvel, or Wakanda. But on top of that, going back to the scroll picture that I didn't even realize, I like the contrast, because outside it looks like we just saw, but inside it looks like a 70s DMV.
Right.
And that really grounds it. Here you got this super multiverse, super duper power, but it looks like our parents have gone there before or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So that is something I do appreciate. About Captain Squirrel here, man. I'm like one take. This hit me from just a left hook. I'm Jake Paul and the scroll is Mayweather.
That's crazy. So, I did not even see it. And
I did not see that.
Too,
I did not see that at all.
Collar on. He must be a variant.
Yeah.
Yep. I was waiting, but damn, Larry, you won't never shut up. So I was going to mention that at the end, but Larry, you butt in every minute, and you talk and you talk, and then you finally hit the home run. I was like, I'm going to be able to say something positive, and here comes Larry. That's what I was waiting. Did anybody notice that he is a working variant? What do we call them on the street? Snitches is what we call them on the street. He is a damn snitch getting fixed. You see that collar around his neck? Yes. Yeah. And so that would tell me that this is what that would tell me. A regular scroll, he can be a chameleon with somebody else. But there's something we about to see in the MCU called the Super Scrolls. I think this is a Super Scroll we're looking at right here.
What?
Yeah, man.
Why I gotta be a Super Scroll?
I just have a feeling if they decide to give him a backstory, he's going to be one of these Super Scrolls that could not only could he emulate you, but he could emulate your powers, and he comes with a power subset almost as strong as the Hulk. So you wait till you see it.
Now wait. I have a question though.
Yeah, go for it.
So the scrolls, their ability to change and shapeshift, is that genetic or is that magic? Because if it's genetic, would he still be able to do it even with the collar on? Because I know the collars block the magic, but if it's not magic, can he should be able to still be able to shift?
No, it's not. But see, they're not. What the outside world calls magic, they call it science here. So you could say, you really could, honestly, Larry, you could go either way with that. But at the end of the day, it's science for them.
And Larry, the collar doesn't stop magic. The collar only allows them to control you through time with the watch.
Right.
Nothing. Right. And everything that works in our universe just doesn't work in their universe. Whether it's Loki's powers, whether it's an Infinity Stone, maybe even Doctor Strange. You know,
I got you, B. Avery. You know what I'm saying? Got you, B. Avery.
That's like that is a pocket universe outside of everything else. Yep. And so nothing works on the outside in there. It's just null and void.
Mm-hmm. I did want to ask you guys about what kind of Easter eggs was in that little tray there, because I know there's a whole bunch of them I'm not seeing.
Well, let's see. It's about to be Larry. I'm not skipping you purposefully. I'm skipping you to jump to B. Avery, so he get the first bite at this apple. I'm going to come back to the Infinity Stone since B. Avery brought it up. But first, I want to just talk about the transitioning. When they're booking you, they don't book you like you're in a regular police department. They damn near put you in front of a computer. They strip your ass naked. They ensure that you're not a computer, because if you are, you're going to get blown up. Then they bag you and tag you. And when they went through this process, B. Avery, Loki was up to his mischief. He gets away for a hot minute. And then he goes and finds a guy sitting at the desk. He gets the Tesseract, and that's when we pop into. He opens the drawer, and they've got every Infinity Stone you could want in there. They got dog tags from Steve Rogers' era. They have a picture of Mussolini down there in the bottom of the thing. Then you've got like a cross from the Vatican. B. Avery, just break it down, my brother. Break it down.
Yeah, man, this is my favorite scene, man. Right here at the whole show. And it was a beautiful score that complimented as well. But just this character Loki that we've known since the beginning of the MCU, just be so arrogant and cocky and ignorant, as we all were talking about how he was at the very beginning of this thing on the rock. He was humbled here. He was truly humbled. His world came just crushing down, and I felt sorry for him. This whole thing right here with him getting his clothes ripped off, that was kind of demeaning as well, but he needed it. He's been stripped of everything. And so it was a great humbling process that he went through. I was shocked myself, like, damn, like the Infinity Stones don't mean nothing here. These are paperweights. This is decoration. It's crazy. It's just crazy.
Figuratively, B. Avery, and literally, they're paperweights. Yeah. Figuratively and literally. One take, I'm gonna come to you next, but let me introduce y'all. We got E-Man in the building. He's on standby. He's warming up in the batter's box. Hopefully, he's gonna hit a few home runs tonight. But he's warming up in the bullpen.
I just came to snitch on Larry again. I just came to snitch on Larry. I told y'all he a variant. I done told the TVA and everything.
Wait a minute. You done told the TVA?
I told the TVA personally because I don't like that. I don't like it.
My man, snitching.
This is what I want to. E-Man, how do you have a direct line to the TVA?
I can't tell you all that.
I can't tell you all that. Because he's that scroll snitch.
Oh, okay. That's what it is. Okay, that's why I asked him. I had your back, Larry. I had to know.
Oh man, what's going on, y'all?
Hey man, we good, man. How you feeling, bro?
I'm all right.
So one take, the ball's in your court. Talk about this scene of booking Loki all the way to your thoughts on this paperweight's worth of Infinity Stones.
Yeah, it was just another one of those moments for Loki, and it was the beginning of just like this. I feel like a fall for him. One, he kind of felt degraded, like nobody's really paying him no mind. It's just like, dude, you're just like everybody else. Hurry up, get your stuff, go through the line. We have other people we probably gonna have to book, and then when you get to that moment with the Infinity Stones, the all powerful things that everybody like was fighting for. And they're nothing here. I think it started to set in on him a little bit. It's like, okay, this is getting very, very depressing for my life. But the only thing about it, it gets worse. But I know we'll get into that later. But like, this was just the beginning of the inevitable fall for Loki.
All right, E-Man, pick on up where we're at right now, my brother. You are in here. I know this has got to be a fun subject and part of our debate for you, that we're talking about these Infinity Stones and Loki being booked, and just how the MCU was able to tie the Infinity Stones into this. They have no power, no meaning. And also the explanation they gave for why they didn't even bother, the Timekeepers didn't even bother with the Avengers when they had the Time Stones. On you, my brother.
Oh, well, that was a very, very interesting question as to why, not why did like the Avengers win, but like, why were they supposed to happen? Why was that supposed to happen? And that really got me going, but that's something you're going to have to go to my channel for on my breakdown video. I will explain that in depth. I might even make it a separate video because there's a lot in that one little statement, especially when you're talking about time and the implications, the function of the TVA, the actions of the Avengers. It's complicated. But, as far as the Infinity Stones, that's something else that I think is still yet to be explained with the show and in the MCU. But from the comics, we knew that the Infinity Stones only had power within the universe that they were created. Right. So if you have a multiverse, if you have universe 1, 2, 3, and 4, the Infinity Stones from universe 1 will not work in universe 4 and vice versa. So that is how it was explained in the comics. We don't know if that works here. We're assuming it might, but there's another thing that happens here, which is if it's not just a question of like working within a universe or not, what does that mean for the TVA? Because my working theory right now is whatever dimension, whatever place that the TVA exists, they have to exist outside of time and space. They have to maybe exist in a pocket dimension, something that's not connected to time and space at all. And because of that, it's not in a universe and it's not subject to any of the laws or the science that the Infinity Stones operate with. And I think that's probably the closest explanation as to why even the desk clerks are able to pick these things up and it's like not a big deal, because it's not like these people are super powered. It's that this place is shut off where, again, even magic doesn't work here. So if the science is different, if magic doesn't work, if the infinity cosmic powers don't work, that means you're in a special place where all the rules are different and everybody's equal. I would compare this to like Kryptonians on Krypton. When a Kryptonian is on Krypton, everybody's just normal. It's whatever. But the second they go outside of that, they go to a planet with a yellow sun, boom, now they superpowered. So I kind of use that to kind of make sense of this until they come up with a better explanation, if they do at all.
All right, Larry, you playing cleanup on that. I don't know how you come behind that. I don't want to go behind that. Not right now. But it's on you, my brother. I'm going to come behind that later, Larry, because I got some more I can say about what he said, but I'm going to come behind it later.
Pass?
Okay. Well, Larry, let me give you something simple, Larry. Let me give you something simple. As Loki is being booked and he's talking about this ticket, we see them demonstrate that they can literally shut your clock down. You're already outside of your universe, your multiverse, whatever, if you will. Loki comes from the 616. This guy was acting out of order, and they just melt his ass down. His clock stopped. Talk about that, Larry. I'll give you the softball.
Yeah, that is one of those moments when it's funny because Loki was like, okay, I'm gonna stop playing with these people right here, because he recognized how quick and easy they can get rid of him and how vulnerable he was. Normally he's able to get himself out of stuff, talk himself out of stuff, or trick him his way out of things, and he's stuck in this situation where he's like, I have nothing. He's like, I've got nothing. And these people are not playing games. They're just like, oh, you're going to do exactly what we tell you. Oh, you don't want to do that? Cool. Bah, bah. Just gone, erased from history. You know, it's not like they just killed you. They just completely erased you from existence. You know, so I think Loki at this moment was, I guess you could say, scared a bit, but I think he realized I need to not play with these people until I learn more about these people. And I think that's part of what he's doing right now, is just sort of learning about them. And I think as the more he learns, the more dangerous he's going to be to these folks. But
damn right.
You know, but one thing I was interested about that when they had that tray is that it looked like there was a medal. It looked like a World War II medal that may have been from from like, I don't know, maybe it looked like one of those German medals or something.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that one out too.
Yeah, I was trying to wonder if maybe that came from maybe it came from like the Red Skull or something like that, or I don't know, somebody.
It definitely came from that era. I zoomed in as hard as I could with every piece of technology I got in my house. I couldn't get close enough to see the name. I could barely make out who that person was in the photo. I did see that cross. I could barely make that stuff out. So that's why I couldn't get you guys a better picture. But I'm sure they'll reveal it later on. I'm back to you, B. Avery. You don't get a softball. This is not going to be a softball for you. This is going to be a little bit more intense, but it's not that bad. So they introduce us to the timekeepers, of which I'm going on the record and telling y'all right now, everybody on this panel probably know they're going to wind up being evil. You cannot have this much power. I'm telling you right now, you cannot have this much power, 3 individuals, and say that you are doing this for the good of whom? For what? You don't want the multiverses crossing up. They had a big fight. Yeah. You straighten it out. I'm telling y'all, there's going to be something evil about them. But having said that, B. Avery, how did you like the introduction of the timekeepers, their explanation of the multiverse, and last but not least, them dealing with Nexus level beings like Wanda versus Loki?
Well, Wanda versus Loki is no contest to me. I think she takes that easily. I love the explanation that they gave, but I have to respectfully disagree with you, sir, on them just being all-out villains, because yeah, they could go down that road, but at the same time, you said that, you know, they're doing this protecting who and what. I mean, all of reality, all of existence, you know. I mean, until more is revealed, we just don't know the implications of a multiverse war among different universes, you know. So I mean, it could just be like, okay, look, we can either set everything to the second timeline or nobody can exist at all, you know. And so that's just kind of a you know, just a difficult ladder to climb. Now I still feel that there should always be checks and balances between, you know, different branches of reality. And you know, of course, that's where, you know, you can get infinity and eternity and all these other people involved as well. But you know, I don't know. But we're just gonna have to see. I don't think we can just necessarily. They may turn into villains. I don't think we can. I'm not too sure yet. But yeah, Wanda destroys Loki, and I like the explanation of the multiverse, the danger of the multiverse.
Okay. One take, I'm coming to you, but my rebuttal to B. Avery and probably everybody on the panel. Usually, I'm not the one with all the crazy hot takes. This is my day, I guess. B. Avery, my thought to you is absolute power corrupts absolutely, and I'm gonna leave it at that. One take, your turn.
Okay. So listen, I'm probably the person on the panel with the least knowledge of this, so the little cartoon helped me out a lot. But as far as what you're saying, Lamont, I think it's kind of one of those situations where, well, let's say, for example, an ant is coming near your food and you kill it. Like, you're not necessarily evil. You just didn't want to get your food, so they're just trying to keep stuff in order, you know. And it looks different because they're like these all-powerful beings and stuff like that. So what looks, I don't think they like share like the same like emotional values as like us, because like, I mean, by their standards, they're obviously superior. So, something like what we would do and them punishing somebody for it doesn't, for them, it's not bad or good. The lines are real blurry. So I don't necessarily think they're evil. Mm-hmm. It's just, I think they have a different way of looking at things because they're so powerful, I guess I would say. Maybe we can't comprehend.
I like that.
That's a dangerous way to look at things with the ant, boy. You can scale that up all the way.
If you've seen Invincible, it's a very dangerous way to look at things.
You can scale that all the way up.
Big Dog gonna be like, man, they was just kind of like pets.
All I could think of was Nick Fury talking to Loki. So and Loki's like, you're an ant, my boot, and all that. And Nick's like, so what are you gonna do? Step on us? So I'm looking at one tape, picturing him in the MCU with his dreads and everything. Forget Nick Fury. He's the one talking to Loki in the MCU. All right, E-Man, I'm ready for this. I normally never get into debates with E-Man, but I saved all my good bullets for this. Give me your thoughts on how they introduced the timekeepers, the multiverse, and their definition of what they call Nexus level beings.
I think you get what they gave us is exactly what they believe. And if you look at like just the history of like little cartoons like this, when they do these little explainer cartoons, just in general, I'm just talking about like, even, if you were to look at like a smoking ad campaign, or, back in the day when they'd be like, hey, children, this is what smoking can do for you, stuff like that. It was always a very biased view. It was always a very slanted, biased perception, which means that looking at this, it seems a little too good to be true. So I don't think that they're villains. I do think that, it's not as peachy keen as they're trying to make it seem to be.
Right.
So I don't think that they're wrong. And they're, because here's the thing, like when they were sitting here talking about the first multiverse war and stuff like that.
Right.
I think that was very much a call sign to Kang the Conqueror. I think Kang the Conqueror really was out there conquering multiverses, maybe others too, but he was out there doing their thing. And I do think that the TVA was created as a result to deal with him, or maybe deal with others, but I don't think that they are like, drunk with power or anything. Now, on the flip side of that, I do have issue with how they go about with their jurisdiction on things. When you look at like how they arrested Loki, and they were like, Loki, you did this, this, and this. You're guilty. And I'm sitting here thinking like, guilty of what? He don't even know y'all exist. He didn't even know he was in an alternate timeline. He didn't know that all he was doing was escaping, which is what Loki does. Loki has like 3 primary functions, to steal the Tesseract, fake a death, and come back. That's all Loki does. So now y'all basically saying because you exist,
wreak havoc on there.
Yeah, throw a little chaos in there, but I'm like, how is that something against y'all law? So I'm just very dubious, I guess, in terms of how they operate with how they go about making their judgments. So I think the flaw is in that, but I would not think that they are trying to control everything and anything. Because if that was the case, I mean, like, again, why didn't they stop Thanos when he killed half of the universe? Like they could have, like
they said they didn't because it happened the way it was supposed to.
I agree. But yeah, I think that if they were more evil than they appear to be, we would see more signs of that. Right now, I just don't believe that they're as good because there is a bigger evil out there, which would be Kang the Conqueror.
Well, I guess I'll lean toward what you're saying. Maybe in their realm, there's not really a good and evil, but I don't lean that they're fully in this thing for the good of all multiverse. I just don't. I think we're going to get something crazy out of these timekeepers because, again, you don't get to have all that power, and at some point in time, you don't get corrupted. Big Larry, speak on it, my brother.
Yeah, it makes me this makes me wonder. Like, for instance, with when you look at them and then you think about what Owen Wilson said to Loki, what Mobius said to Loki, it makes me wonder, like, maybe these dudes are corrupt. These three beings are corrupt, and Mobius wants to start another. He either wants to bring them down, or maybe he wants to start another multiverse war or something. Because he's asking Loki, why would a being such as you settle for just ruling? It's almost like he's encouraging him to think bigger. Like, there's a multiverse out there. Why just conquer Midgard and rule that when maybe you can rule all of the universes? Why not think bigger? It makes me wonder, like, maybe this dude's trying to bring down the TVA. You know,
no.
he's already acting, in an unconventional manner by taking a variant and deciding he wants to work with what they think of as, maybe a potentially dangerous variant. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah. I don't know about that one, Larry, just because they have it seems as though Mobius has a specific purpose for Loki, a specific purpose. And he's trying to save the TVA because, and I don't want to jump too far, but I'm gonna pin it, Larry. I'm gonna explain it in a minute.
But he seems like he actually admires Loki a bit, and he's I don't know. It just seemed, that question to me, when I heard that question, it seemed like he was encouraging Loki to maybe continue on with his mischief, but to think bigger.
I mean, maybe, but I think what he was really trying to do is get Loki to just admit you are who you are. Stop lying to me. Just see yourself for who your ass is, and just go with it, so that he can ultimately. But we already know
we have a Loki out there who's already thinking bigger, because
Loki don't know that at the time when he's giving him these speeches.
No, I know, but that's why I think that Mobius is maybe trying to get this Loki to think bigger, to be bigger. Maybe he sees something in this Loki that he likes that he doesn't see in the other Loki, but he still wants him to go along that same path.
Do you think, Larry, do you think like he's trying to get this Loki to think bigger so he can combat the other Loki that's supposedly out there?
That's definitely possible, because if he's gonna really fight that other Loki, he's gonna need to expand his mind. So that's a definite possibility. But just how he seems to be, he seems really taken by Loki. He seems to like him, like they could be homeboys and hang out, like if he had his choice. But I'm not calling this dude a good guy yet. I think he has some ulterior motives that may go beyond just working with Loki to stop Loki. I think he might have some ill feelings towards the TVA.
No, I mean, I can buy into that he's not 100% a good guy. I can certainly buy into that, but I do think he's down for the TVA. But I can certainly buy into, I don't think he's 100% good. To be honest with you, I'm having trust issues with a lot of characters on this show. I'm just keep that real.
What I want to know is that now they brought the TVA, are we going to get to see She-Hulk? Is she coming?
I mean, she has a show coming.
Yeah, she's got a show coming.
But are we going to see her in this show?
I doubt it.
No. I mean, but what they are doing with this show is
she works for a law firm that supposedly defends these variants, right?
Larry,
wasn't that one of the things that she worked for a law firm where she defends these time variants?
No.
She just defend regular old people.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Maybe I had it wrong. Maybe I was thinking of something and had it wrong.
No.
That late night TV gonna get you, Larry. Better watch out.
It might. I watch a lot of stuff. I might be blending stuff. I might be,
I'm doing the same thing. I understand.
E-Man, we ain't letting you off the hook. We still want to know how you got a phone number to the TVA, but we'll get back to you in a minute. We ain't letting you off the hook like that. So, E-Man, I'm coming to you first with this one. So Mobius is on a mission right now. We catch them in 1549, and at this point, I'm kind of backpedaling here. We understand that they're chasing a Loki through time because this particular Loki has been setting up TVA, taking their technology and taking them out. Now, my hot take on this, which is really not a hot take, I do believe that this Loki is a female, and while they're here, Now, this is the part where I kind of got the geekgasm going. They zeroed in on this window pane, and it looked like a devil. And my mind was running 20 different directions. I was like, okay, y'all trying to tell us it's Mephisto, or maybe y'all trying to tell us it's Nightmare, but really this looked like Mephisto. And then I went and read an interview what the showrunner said, and they said it is absolutely has nothing to do with Mephisto nor Nightmare. As a matter of fact, Nightmare was supposed to have been the main villain in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, but they changed that. So, E-Man, to break down this scene right here from the 1549 to you seeing the devil on the window pane, to me thinking that this is definitely a female Loki who's doing all this time jumping.
Yeah, I mean, I think you were right. I mean, you know, you have to also think about the fact that, like, being in 1500s or whatever, the way that they describe things are going to be, you know, very archaic in a sense, you know, or just very primitive in a certain sense. So if they happen to see a lady Loki with the Loki horns, it's going to look like the devil to them. You know,
okay.
You know, I mean, you see the green, the horns. Maybe it's a version of Loki. I mean, we're also dealing with the multiverse. Maybe there is a version of Loki that happens to look like the devil. You know, but I think it is kind of interesting that, you know, that they're draped in green like that, which is Loki's signature color.
Yeah,
you know, but yeah, I mean, I think it could be that. Yeah, I mean, we already seen from like set photos and images and stuff that there was like a female, you know, that was going to be in there. Obviously, you know, we already knew that it might have been a lady Loki. There was also reports there's going to be a kid Loki, and, you know, just all these different versions of Loki. So it wouldn't blow me away if that were the case. It, you know, if that's the connection, but you know, I'd be lying if I thought that Marvel didn't also just happen to do this on purpose, you know, just again to troll the fans that have no choice but to just keep on chomping at the bit for whatever Mephisto is for them. I don't know. Now, just to kind of feed that flame a little bit, Mephisto is a being from another dimension.
Yeah.
He is like another alien, kind of like Dormammu is in another dimension. It is also possible that the TVA might have some sort of connection or knowledge about him.
You know why? Because he's Nexus level powerful like Wanda.
Could be that too.
Him and Nightmare are Nexus level powerful.
Hey, they did mention Nightmare. They did mention Nightmare earlier.
They did mention him. Mobius mentioned him.
Another department.
Just keeping it real.
Right.
So Larry, I'll pass the torch to you, man. Connect these dots. La la la.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna go ahead and believe the showrunners this time, because we all pontificated all the way through WandaVision, and we were left at the end like we should have listened to the showrunners. You know? So I'm just gonna go ahead and listen to them this time and say it's not them. It's not Mephisto or Night. I'm just gonna go ahead and just listen to them. But I thought this was hilarious when the kid had the blue mouth, because that's just like, that is so much a kid. It's like you give a kid some sweets and some candy, and then he opens his mouth, and his tongue and his teeth are all blue from that candy. It was classic. I was like, and what's the perfect way to get any kid to just stop talking and be nice to you and do what you want them to do? Give them something sweet.
Yeah,
you know,
old creeper.
I know,
exactly
man.
What creep would do. Old creep.
Larry hanging out from the high school.
Oh God.
Nah, Larry got them tips from Zemo.
Oh yeah.
Zemo getting all that information with the sweets.
That's right.
No, man, I'm going to the Zemo dance school next week.
Oh man, I hope you don't pay too much for that. B. Abram coming your way, man. What did all this whole scene mean to you? Did you get Mephisto vibes, or how you feel?
It's Mephisto. Nah, I did. I did think that initially, like, wait, at first glance, but like y'all, I did hear and see the interview. I don't want it to be Mephisto. I don't care if it's Mephisto. If it is Mephisto, I'm not going to be like, oh my God. I'm just like, oh, it's Mephisto. But I really don't think it is Mephisto.
No.
I never really caught the reference that E-Man said about the green. That's, I'm just not kind of realizing that. The blue candy, that is significant right there because, they're in 1548. So how in the world are you having that candy there? That's quite interesting. I also like the fact that Mobius was talking trash, and then the other guard was like, "Yeah, don't forget, I can speak every language in the timeline too."
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool right there.
Yeah,
it's like
man.
a trillion languages. I mean, I don't know how many, but it's a lot. His resume.
You have a couple hundred just on Earth here.
Yeah. So that was interesting to me. But I don't think it's Mephisto.
Okay. All right, one take. You finish us off on this. What were your thoughts on this scene and everything that ensued?
I'm kind of considering I don't really know too much about Mephisto, Lady Loki, Nightmare, anybody. So I didn't really know what to expect. And when I saw it, I seen pictures of Mephisto, so that's the first thing that came to my mind. But then again, hanging around y'all, I'm like, nah, don't it just leave that alone.
Make you doubt yourself, man. Don't let us make you doubt yourself.
Hey, no, it's not that. You got to be smart sometimes. But something that you do notice, though, and I think somebody even said it in the comments, is that the tongue of the devil is blue, and the candy is blue. So I'm trying to see what's the correlation between that, because also, why did they think the little kids candy? I mean, that's kind of messed up, though.
So
that Loki was chewing that gum.
Right.
That Loki was chewing that gum in the past when they made that painting.
Oh.
Yeah. And the other thing I thought about too, until I read the showrunners thing, was Nightmare. One of the ways he's able to get into the realm of 616 is he gets people to fall asleep, especially children. And in their dreams, he lures them with something. It can be candy. It can be whatever. And so I'm sitting here looking at this thing. Okay, well, some people are going to think Mephisto. Some of us are going to think Nightmare because the girl got blue in her teeth. The devil got blue. And I completely, believe it or not, overlooked the green and just looked at that blue tongue and thought horns and automatically thought Nightmare because you got the kid. She looked like she was in her bed clothes. If y'all paid attention during the show, she looked like she got out of bed. Hair was frazzled, chewing that gum. So I'm thinking you just woke up from a dream. Somebody was about to slip into the 616 realm. So that's where I thought it was going with that. But E-Man, you just made me look at this green and think, hey, talking about Loki.
I got a question though, because I'm thinking about how whoever this villain is, whether it's Mephisto, Lady Loki, whoever, how do they just so happen to get the drop on the time on the TVA as much as they do? Because it's like, can they not with Loki, they knew where Loki was at the time. So with this other person, do they not know? Are they jumping? We obviously know they're jumping through different times, right? But how do they not be able to see what they're doing before they get there, so they won't be surprised and getting all their agents killed?
That's a great question.
Man, that's a good one.
Stay tuned.
Bruh. Like, I guarantee you some people ain't gonna watch this because of how complicated it is trying to keep these timelines together, then follow the story. But that's a good question. And like E-Man said, that is a whole damn video by itself. Like, I can sit here and try to explain, but that's a whole damn that is 10 minutes of good content that you should get paid to see. So,
but haven't they explained them messing up stuff and not being variants themselves? Like when they showed up to Mongolia and they just wiped those people out. How is not wiping those people out a variant in itself? That's a variance in itself by wiping those folks out.
No, they're wiping out the entire reality.
Right?
Huh?
Yeah, they're wiping out the entire reality.
Mm-hmm.
and they're taking the variant with
but
them.
is that not a variance of the multiverse?
No, it's an extra timeline that they're deleting.
Yeah,
right.
Even when
it spews off. Yeah,
right.
Spews off.
Keep in mind, like there's the sacred timeline,
right,
and then there's always some sort of variation that goes on, and because of that, they come in and reset it so that it goes back to being normal.
So what Loki did, Loki was the deviation from the normal tree. If you're talking about a tree as a trunk, Loki was branching out where he wasn't supposed to be at, and they came back, got Loki, and then hit the button, and bam, right back on the straight timeline. But the problem is, let me finish this, big dog. The problem is people like Wanda, who are Nexus level powerful, they watch them because they can just do that type of stuff before they can get wind of it. So that's another thing that you could possibly say could have people to believe this could be a Mephisto or a nightmare that they're referencing until the showrunners ruin my hopes and dreams.
Okay, so I don't want to go into to too much detail on it because I know we're going to talk about it in a second. But when during the trial, it's like, hey, we're going to reset you. So it's basically just like, hey, we're going to put you back where you were. But that brings me to the guy during the trial who got completely erased. What do you do about him in the timeline? Because if his sentence was to be reset, you just go back and put him back. But if he's completely erased from like existence, doesn't that like mess up the timeline?
No, I think that they by reset, I think they meant they were going to disintegrate him because he's an extra piece right now. Like because whatever was supposed to happen when they went back and put that little bomb there, it resets time. It resets whatever it's supposed to be. So any little, like when Loki picked up the Tesseract and escaped and all that stuff got reset. But they took that extra Loki that was created, and that's who we have now. We got that little hanging piece, from that timeline.
Yeah. But when they were showing the cartoon basically when the guy deviated, he goes up the ramp. They got him, they plucked him, erased the timeline, and placed him back though.
And that's what I think they're going to wind up doing with Loki. However, what I guess One Take is trying to figure out, if they get you in the TVA in their realm, which is outside of all these multiverses, and then they kill you in that realm, he wants to know what happens to you, your being in the realm you came from when they plucked you. So
I think that depends on if you're guilty or not.
Okay.
Because here's the other thing, like what's supposed to happen with Loki already happened, right? He was supposed to go through Thor 2, Thor 3, and then Infinity War and die. That's what's supposed to happen to him. So what might happen is Loki working for the TVA, he might like exist outside of that. So maybe if he does come back to the main timeline, he's going to have to come back after his death. He's going to have to come back after 2023 or whenever Thanos killed him in 2018 or whatever. Because if he comes back before, now you literally have two Lokis running around. One that's supposed to go through the main course and then the variant. So I think if he does come, and I think he'll come back because, he's a favorite. He'll come back after and he'll be like, just part of the new stuff. And then you'll see him. You might even see him in Thor 4.
Yeah.
Actually, I think we're gonna get more into it in just a minute because I think that's gonna that plays like big implications to where like the episode ends off at.
And bro, if you think this is confusing, if you think this is, wait till they go ahead and flesh out. We get a couple of these movies, and then they get into the Secret War stuff, the Doctor Strange stuff, and then we really
time with that,
man. Lord, and we start crossing these multiverses, bro. Whew. All I can say is, if you're a creator on YouTube and you like comics, you better get ready. B. Avery, I'm coming to you next, my brother. Next, we want to talk about one of our young, hot female black ladies who is in this thing. I'm talking about Judge Red Slayer, who they send Loki before her, and this is where Mobius comes and makes a deal. But let me give you the backstory on Rabona. I don't know how much the MCU is going to go into it, but she was dating Kang the Conqueror. And I bring that up because look directly behind her head. Everybody's saying they think that that's Kang the Conqueror. picture on the wall, which that's why I have questions about the timekeepers. But at the same time, you got to think that Kang the Conqueror, he jumps all these. Not only does he time jump, but he traverses multiverses. And Ravonna is not known in the comics as being a villain, unless the MCU about to switch her up. She's usually known for being somewhat heroic. So, B. Avery, what kind of vibes was you getting knowing that we've got this chick, Ravonna the Red Slayer, the judge, who's normally good, works with, has a crush or whatever on Kang the Conqueror, and us knowing Jonathan Majors is about to be Kang the Conqueror in the MCU?
Well, going into this, I never thought that Kang would pop up in this show, but it now makes perfect sense that he would. But at the same time, it made perfect sense for me. It made perfect sense for Doctor Strange to pop up in WandaVision, but he didn't.
Good.
So
point.
I don't want to get my hopes up, because it would make sense. But they're like, oh, I don't want Kang the Conqueror to come in and overpower Ravonna or whatever her name is. Now, with her, I do like the casting. She's clearly white, and she's black here. Or somebody in my review told me she's not black, she's biracial. I'm like, I don't even want to get into that. But anyway, yeah. I wanted to save y'all's peace. I was gonna, send y'all the print screen, but I was like, no, I'm gonna just leave it alone.
Thank you.
I like the fact that we get the shots we're getting of her, of looking up to her, and she's looking down on us. I kept saying I was just happy, hey, we got a black woman in power. And I have a pretty good understanding of who Kang the Conqueror is, of course, but I had no idea that they were dating each other. This is news to me. I think today is the first time I heard that, so I can't really comment on that. But that does tie in, and I don't think he's gonna pop up. He may, so we're just gonna have to see.
Gotcha. One take, drop something on us about Judge Red Slayer and what you think they're gonna do with her character, and do you think that looks like Kang behind her?
Okay, I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to drop. Maybe drizzle a little bit of something, but she's gorgeous. I can say that does from the image of Kang that we see. That looks like Kang. How they gonna play these two together? I think only time will tell. So
see what you did there.
I'm leave it on a high note.
Oh man.
Nice.
E-Man, what did you think about this scene with Judge Red Slayer? And where do you think they're going to go with her character?
Man, you don't want to know what I think about it.
Yes, I do. I was raised by a grandma, so I'm nosy as hell. Yeah, I want to know.
I mean, I think that when you're dealing with the multiverse, a lot of different things are possible.
Yes.
When you're dealing with Loki, you have to see what they do, like Marvel's trends. One of the trends that I think Marvel does way too often is they do mirror villains, right? So they'll do a Black Panther, Killmonger, same damn thing. Iron Man and whatever the dude was in the first one. They be running out of ideas, except for making T'Challa the rightful ruler of Wakanda. But I wouldn't be shocked if they did something similar with Kang. What if Kang had variants? Maybe that's not him. Maybe it's the good version of him or something. I don't know.
That's it. That's it. That's all I was looking for. So when I made my mention about her being a good character throughout her comic run, and Kang being directly behind her, to me, maybe there has been a Kang in one of these verses that actually helped the timekeepers in the TV. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah. So that's why I wouldn't be, because again, it's if Kang was the one that was conquering the multiverses and stuff, why would they honor him? You know what I'm saying? As
exactly.
But maybe there is a good version of him. I don't know.
Right.
Right. And maybe that's what they're showing because it does look like him, but it wouldn't make sense to honor him. So maybe it's a variant.
Why not? So, but when do you have to conquer all the multiverses so that you can bring in one timeline?
I don't think I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't really believe.
Wouldn't that be worthy of being honored if you conquered them all so that you can have one timeline? Wouldn't that be worthy of being honored?
Maybe.
You said you don't believe that story.
So let me.
No, I don't believe this story. Like I said, I think they sugarcoated it a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Larry, speak on it, my brother. How you feel? How you feel about this young lady they got to playing Kang's potential girlfriend?
Yeah, I love the line that Mobius did when he walked up and he said, I feel like I'm always looking up to you. It feels so appropriate. I thought to myself, yes, that you have it exactly right. But I felt like there was a little bit of a vibe there going, like he was truly feeling her. She didn't necessarily reciprocate that, but maybe there was something there in the past or whatever. But I don't know what's going on with her, man. I hope she's a good guy, but she was just to me, I have a hard time with it because she was way too quick to just throw a guilty thing at Loki there and be done with him. She seemed just too quick and easy to dispose of him. And I don't think people like that can be truly good. I think there's some evil in there, and whether or not we're going to see it, I don't know.
So does that mean you're admitting Killmonger was evil?
Oh, absolutely not. Killmonger is the rightful ruler of Wakanda.
Absolutely not.
Man, let me change. Let me go. God, one take I'm coming to you first, man. Lord, this guy here, man. Damn it. How did I get stuck with this man?
I think the color might be a variant.
So, one take, I just want you to tell me, how did you feel about this scene? So Loki made a bet with Thor, and he's on the airplane, and he's DB Cooper. Now, for those that don't know, we had a guy named DB Cooper, jumped out of an airplane during the 70s and mysteriously vanished. To this day, is still an unsolved mystery with all this money.
He was a bank robber and jumped out with a bag full of money.
Bag full of it. And they never found it.
People treasure hunting for decades trying to find this money, and they have yet to find him or the money.
Which tells me him and the money is still together. So how did you like this portrayal the MCU did of some more of the backstory of Loki?
I thought it was clever. One, because I didn't necessarily know that story. Actually, I didn't know that story till about 5 seconds ago, but I figured it was something like that. So him doing this just kind of like I like how they added together with like real world scenarios and stuff. I thought it was cool. It's one of the scenes that was kind of I don't necessarily call it throwaway. I just thought it was like something that they did that was very clever. Well, actually, I think it's more clever now, considering the fact that I just found out who he was.
No doubt. E-Man, what'd you think about this particular scene? You on mute, my brother?
Gotcha.
Oh, you good?
No, I mean, look, I thought it was cool. It was funny. It was one of those good old Marvel, have a good time type of moments. So, I mean, the fact that they lost the bet, that's fine. Those are the type of things I actually like to see when it comes to Thor and Loki, is like their childhood, or just when they were younger. Like, like I've said before, you had the time where, I mean, what was it in Ragnarok? Like, I think Thor had said something like he put a snake on him or something, or he like straight up stabbed him one day, just shaking people out of nowhere. Like, it's stuff like that. Like, if you go give me a flashback for Thor and Loki, those are the type of things I like. So this was cool. It's funny to see that he actually played a role in American, or in the Earth's history, some way, shape, or form. I mean, I'm interested to see if he played other mysterious roles, you know, in other ways. Maybe they go further in the past. I mean, the funny thing, he was talking about like, oh, I was a young man. I'm like, bro, like, ain't you like 5,000 years old? Like Thor, like that was like maybe 50 years ago. Like, how's that young for you? You know, young for you is 4,000 years ago. You know, so like the pyramids coming around, like that's young for you. But anyway,
not the pyramid.
I'm just saying. I mean, if like he's talking about he young, like what young? How do y'all age? Like
I don't know about it. That's before Christ. Lord have mercy. Larry, take the wheel, my brother, because I still want to know how E-Man got that phone contact to the TVA. How he gonna tell on you?
I just want to give E-Man a shout out for that belly reference on his thumbnail when he turns his camera off. That's dope. Yeah, this was just funny. This was a lot of fun, and it was funny that he turned out to be DB Cooper. It would be funny too if they show Loki and Thor snatching up ships and planes out of the Bermuda Triangle. You know, if they just start adding all kinds of mysteries that end up being attributed to them, that would just be hilarious. So,
yeah,
but
I'm with it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was just a fun scene. I don't think it was anything that required too much thought or anything. It was just a good, fun scene that sort of played into to sort of American history and just sort of what do you call it? I forgot what you call it. I'm losing the term in my mind, but just sort of I don't know. When I come back with the name, when I think of what it is called, I'll come back to it. So
okay, yeah. Stop thinking about Killmonger so much, man. It's ruining your mind. That's what your problem is. B. Avery, what was your thoughts on this scene or anything you want to reflect on?
Urban legends. That's what I was thinking of. Urban legends. It's sort of an urban legend that they played with.
Okay, B. Avery.
To be honest, guys, this scene really didn't do much for me. It was okay. It was cool. I mean, it has a little bit more significance now hearing y'all talk about it, but you know, I just, you know, at the time it didn't do anything for me, to be honest. So sorry.
Ain't nothing to be sorry about. Right. I mean, it's just your opinions. What the hell are you sorry about?
You know? That's it. You know? Just yours.
So that maybe this will give you a little bit more meat on the bones right here. I'm gonna come right back at you, B. Avery. So as we're watching Loki in real time, he's got away, got his hands on that awesome little time zapping thing that they have, and then he ends up back in, I don't want to call it a jail cell, but back in front of the camera. He actually saw his future. He saw that he caused the destruction of his mother. He also saw that Thanos snaps his neck. And then they play a little reel right here that shows you Loki, 616 Earth. And to me, this was the moment Loki kind of found out that, like, man, stuff just ain't what it is. So be able to expand on those elements in those particular scenes and how you felt.
First of all, again, bro, I gotta give it to you with the eagle eye, because I did not notice that the film strip said Earth 616.
Hey man,
so that's dope.
Hey man, that's what y'all got me for, man. Yeah, Look, they should have never let me get Disney Plus on the computer.
That was pretty nice right there. So, they just goes to show that the life that he was supposed to live, that he just saw, was the main timeline. But earlier, when I talked about him humbling himself, when he figured out the Infinity Stones wasn't worth crap, that was my favorite scene. This was my second favorite scene right here because, you know, he just more humbling of himself again. I love the fact that he got to see his future, that he got to see his demise, that he got to see all the mistakes that he made. And, you know, he's getting a second chance. He was like, you know, you trying to go back. This is what you would have did. You would have been hurt by that, caused all this chaos and destruction. You would have killed your mama and then just died. And so you need to take this, because I think in this scene when Mobius came in there, he was like, yeah, you're going to start taking this seriously. You know, we also saw him, sitting down in the corner, just like, man, I can't go back to my timeline, you know, and they're deciding to work together. So while I spoke earlier about how I just wasn't really salivating, anticipating the show, you know, to the utmost degree, I was a bit disappointed that, I mean, man, we got all this character development from Loki, but when we go back to the show, it's not going to be the same Loki. We're going to lose all that. Well, him being able to see his future, fills that in. So that makes me very, very happy. So I thought that was very important that he was able to see his future. Makes me happy as a fan. It just makes logical sense, just as far as plot and storytelling goes as well. And so very well executed here.
Okay. One take, your thoughts.
This was my favorite part of the show by far, because you had a guy who like I said, he felt he was the king of the mountain, and then he starts, and I like how they went back and showed with him seeing everything, because the first time he's there, he only sees up to his mother's death, and the reason that he calls it because he sent the dark elves up the steps to get him. So, and then he goes back and he sees more. He sees his father dying, and we know how he actually felt about him. We see the moment with him and Thor and Thor Ragnarok, and like Thor basically says, like, bro, I always like, I always felt for you, and you always like my best friend. I want to like do this with you forever. And then then he even sees like, yo, he betrayed Thor even after that. And then you go further down the line, and he's killed by Thanos, and like his everything that he thought he was gonna do, this big meaning, this big accomplishments, all these things he thought he was gonna rule over it. None of that happens, and the guy, he dies with his death meaning nothing, because actually his death really didn't stop anything from or even prolong anything that Thanos was doing. And so you just have a person really just contemplating the life that they could possibly go live, because if anything, he just goes back to this timeline. They place him right back. He doesn't remember anything else. He just goes and lives all of this throughout. And I thought about, I was talking to me and we were talking about it earlier. It's just one of the most terrifying things that a person can experience, because if somebody was to just show you your life, and from now to the time that it ends, and I know a lot of us, we're all of us are like, we feel we're destined for big things. And I definitely think that about all of you. But we see our lives and none of that happens. Somebody fall off the wagon and does nothing. That is crucial. That like hurts you to your core. And I think that's the biggest moment for Loki. Him seeing all of this, him knowing that nothing I thought I was gonna do, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to die. And the biggest thing I ever have done is is basically being a stepping stone for other people to be great. So yeah, I love this thing.
Well, I got a question I want to ask you fellas before I come to E-Man. Just one word. I don't even want you to think about it, just one word. If you really could go in a capsule and watch the reel of your entire life, would you, Larry?
Would I?
Would you?
That depends.
Okay, well, never mind. B. Avery.
No, hear me out, because it depends. If I get to see everything that happens in my life, do I have the opportunity to change it?
Nope.
Or am I just stuck with what it is?
You just stuck with what it is.
Well, then no, I wouldn't want to see it, because it would take all of the joy out of living. You would know everything that's going to happen. It's sort of like watching a movie with somebody who, when you've already seen the movie, it's like you may get to see them watch things and see the excitement in their life and in their eyes, but you already know what's coming, so it's not quite the same for you. And so, no, I wouldn't want to.
B. Avery, what about you?
If I can't change nothing at all, no.
One take?
Hell no.
E-Man, what about you?
Agreed. I ain't changing nothing.
Okay. All right, well, it's your turn, my brother. Expand on this whole scene with Loki basically coming to grips with who he is, and how'd you feel about them dropping this end of life for Loki on Earth 616?
I mean, here's the thing. I love the character development regardless, right? Mm-hmm. I would have preferred had he did this catch up later in the series, only because the whole selling point of the Loki series was, hey, we're getting that Loki from 2012 that y'all loved, that y'all missed, and we're about to do something different with him. And I'm like, that's cool. I want to see that 2012 arrogant, Loki doing whatever that he's about to do. Now, of course, later on we can fill him in, with all the stuff that happened in the past, according to the main timeline. But, I just felt like a little robbed that we couldn't get a little bit more from this Loki. I mean, maybe he would try and play more pranks. Maybe he would try and, be even more mischievous. Maybe he, whatever. We don't know. Because now when Loki learns about all these different events that happen in the actual timeline that he's supposed to go through, it's a humbling experience. Right. It makes him vulnerable. It creates a different type of Loki that, again, we have grown to love and appreciate as a character, over time. So now it's kind of like, this is kind of like jump, like almost skip the line, instead of going and living through all these events, he just got a super tape to just like hurry up and like go through the best beats, or not even the best, but like the hardest beats of his life. And now that's going to inform Loki to be a little different. And this is no different than what happened with Thanos in an Endgame. The 2014 variant, he ended up seeing his life through the same footage of Nebula. But he made a different decision. He was just like, I'm about to do this again. Run it back. Give me them stones. Like, that's what he wanted to do. Now, maybe this Loki would be like, okay, now that I know what I know, I'm not going to run it back. Maybe I'm going to do something different. I don't know. And I'm hoping that is what they do. But we'll just have to see with that. Oh, hold on. We gotta go ahead and address that.
My people. No ma'am says for $10, and thank you. We all appreciate it. And you know what type of things I try to do when you guys super chat for me. She has a nerd question. So is old man Steve a variant? Cap only went to the 70s because of Loki. Still in the Tesseract, where he saw Peggy, still had a pic of him on her desk, which made him stay with her. Who wants to tackle that one first? Because that sounds pretty easy.
Yeah, he's not a variant. No.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now the Cap in that picture, that's a variant. Don't listen to Larry.
Don't listen to Larry.
I think also to create a variant, like I think the Infinity Stones may have to be involved because that's the way that the Sorcerer Supreme explained it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because Loki did steal the Tesseract. That's how he became a variant, and they had a drawer full of Infinity Stones. So,
right,
you think
I don't think that's the only way.
Huh? You think Loki palmed one of those Infinity Stones? Because he may not be able to use it there, but he might be thinking this might come in handy later.
Maybe. I mean, he
did take one. He took the time stone.
He took the Tesseract.
And he took the time stone. I don't know what the hell he think he's going to do with it. Not there.
But even if he takes it back to a reality, like he may have taken the Space Stone from Universe 1,
right?
But the Tesseract from Universe 7,
yeah,
right.
Well, you don't know
them together, right? Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But I'm curious maybe they it seems to me like they had never seen the Tesseract before, because when Casey, the dude that worked at the desk, they said when they what's her name, Hunter B-15, whatever, when she threw the Tesseract to him, he said, "What is this?" And she said, "I don't know."
It's in a casing. The other ones are just stones.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, why y'all put it in a gift wrap box? What is this?
Right, a glowing box.
And it wouldn't matter anyway. Just nothing in their reality. The abilities of the different realities doesn't transfer from reality to reality. So it don't matter what it is. If it was a pink elephant,
it can only be used in the 616. That Tesseract,
the sacred timeline.
Right. It can only be used in the 616. So Larry, coming to you with this one.
Is it possible for, say, a Nexus being to create a magical object that could be used across the multiverse?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's possible. That's hella possible.
I mean, Nexus beings can do things that affect or ignore the rules of the multiverse.
Right.
Like they're just outside the rules.
Right.
So maybe.
Yeah, Nexus being to do it. So Larry, how did you feel about this whole entire scene?
Yeah, man, I felt bad for Loki, you know. And this is where I think they did a really fantastic job of making us feel for somebody who is pretty much a horrible individual in a lot of ways, but they make you feel bad for him in a sense because you see in some ways maybe he doesn't want to be a horrible individual, and yet they're telling him your whole existence is you only exist to be horrible so that other people can be good and find their better selves and their best selves in defeating you. And I'm thinking to myself, what a terrible existence. You know, like why would you create an entity like that? That's just and if that is the case, then there must be some path to redemption. And even though we're looking at this thing, which is sort of ironic, we're looking at him watching a thing that says end of file, and yet here he is still in existence. This is not the end of file. You know, I mean, he's still clearly creating, you know, what should be more of his story.
Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to Jimmy who sent a $5 super chat. I appreciate that, my brother. He has to say he loves listening to the guys. We got a good show here. Looking forward to following this series with you guys. So yeah, make sure you're subscribed to everybody's channel. Everybody up here is putting out content about this show. Larry's even going to do a review on the tech. He got his hands on some of that Nexus tech. So, I mean, that time variant tech. So be sure to watch him for his reviews. All right,
you have to be careful with it because you might wipe yourself out and then you never even know because you're just gone. You know?
Boy. All right, fellas, this is the last piece. And of course, it's definitely the ending. And so what we learned from this ending is that Mobius proposes to Loki that they have a Loki and they feel like they need a sharp-witted Loki to convince this other Loki to bend the knee in essence. And we catch them going back in time because this Loki is pretty much destroying the TVA. He's tearing them up. She's tearing them up. And they go back to this point in time. And when they get there, they notice that they find some tech from 3000 that's in 1858. They see some oil on the ground. And I don't know what the hell they was thinking. Maybe they thought that this person was trying to steal oil. I don't know what they thought. But next thing I know, she sets ablaze, burns their asses up, and comes over there and gets that little time resetter. E-Man, this one's on you now, my brother. You get to start this one out, meaning one take, you'll be ending it. What'd you think about this, my brother? This whole ending scene. Ending explained. Oh, Lord. Let's see his face.
I never knew. I never knew another Loki. Wow. No, I'm just playing. I mean, look, it was fine. You know, like it was a fine little thing. But again, it was one of those things where like we knew that there was always going to be other Lokis. Like that was like the worst kept secret. That was like, you know, Agatha all along. Like we knew that, you know. And I personally, watching this, I was like, okay, the mere fact that y'all keep on saying he, and that's something that they do. I forget what, there was another example that they did this and it was an obvious misdirect, but you know, I would say that this might be the case in Black Widow with Taskmaster. The fact that they keep on saying he, you don't know it's a he, but you're doing that to misdirect the audience. And yes, if you go check out my videos, I got some wild theories about who Taskmaster really is. And I do believe it's a woman.
Hey, I saw it, but I ain't going to tell nobody. I ain't going to say nothing.
It's all right. It's all right.
They did the same thing in Captain in Winter Soldier with the Power Broker.
Right. That was it. That was the other one. I'm like, yo, y'all keep on doing this intentional misdirect. Like he, and you don't even know. Come on now. Like, whatever. But anyway, I mean, it's a cool little reveal. I mean, look, this is, I think, the teaser that we need for the next episode. You know, this final bomb, this final whatever that happened in 1858 is definitely to show that whichever Loki this is, ain't nobody to mess with. You know, this one is, you know, as Big Dog mentioned earlier, is like one step ahead of the TVA. And we already seen how powerful the TVA is. So the fact that this Loki is able to outsmart the TVA, the fact that this Loki seems like a more dangerous Loki than the current Loki that we got, you know, it just makes it all the more interesting. And I think like the biggest question is like, what do they want? You know, like what is the purpose? Is it because this isn't like Loki anyway? Like Loki does not go around killing people for fun. That was the whole point of Mobius asking like, yo, why do you kill? You know, and he was just like, I don't like it. Like, that's not what I really am about. So now the question is, what's up with this other Loki? Like, why is this Loki out here just going on a rampage then? You know,
you want me to tell you why?
Oh, please, go for
I ain't gonna make the video.
Go for
because the timekeepers are too damn high in evil. But you know, hey, I mean, you keep giving me supporting information on my theory, and if I'll leave it at that. Larry, speak on it, my brother. But I'm gonna leave it right there.
It makes you wonder because you know they tell us that Loki is basically inherently bad and he can't be anything other than that because he basically exists to make other people good by defeating him. It makes you wonder, maybe Loki's not bad. If you have the timekeepers who are evil and he's out there trying to destroy the most evil, powerful beings in all of the multiverse, and he's out there trying to destroy them, maybe he's doing it because he's actually really, really good, you know? And I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but I'll tell you the way that he did that, I love that because so many times when I watch movies and I sit and I wonder to myself when I see these big armies coming out on a big open field, I always wonder, why doesn't somebody just drench that whole damn field with oil, back up, and then shoot some flaming arrows at it and light them on fire, and boom, battle is over. Done. You didn't even have to waste any time getting your man killed. You know?
Well, I mean, they do it on Game of Thrones. I mean, they've done that on Game of Thrones.
And they should continue to do that. I like the way that they did that. It was dope. Just rolled up in there. Dude was like, oil. Oh, somebody must have came back from the future to get rich. Nah, yeah. Homie, you just got played and burnt up.
Yeah, you know? Burned
and it's also very cool to see that with all their supposed tech and how powerful they are and everything else, they are basically just human, and they're gonna fall to the most basic core element, which is fire. That is the most destructive thing on the planet, and they succumb to it just like any and everything else.
Larry, I'm glad you mentioned that because I had totally forgot when I was watching. So I'm thinking to myself, damn, ain't y'all powerful and y'all get burnt up? That's exactly what I was thinking. How y'all getting burnt up? But anyway, B. Avery, ball's in your court, my brother.
Yeah, I was just about to say that I love this because it just shows that the Time Variance Authority is not immortal. You know, they can still be destroyed. I feel the whole organization can still be destroyed. You know, they're not, and to address what you said, Lamont, they're not all powerful. It's just that they operate from a different set of rules and regulations from whatever pocket, dimension, or universe they come from. You know, whatever is in the 616 or a normal universe does not work in their world, and whatever is in their world does not work in our world, you know. And so when they're in this our 616, you know, it's an even playing field. Even going back to the beginning of the episode where Wumi hit Loki with the baton and made him go a 16th of a second at a time. I think if Loki, and one tech was saying this as well, if Loki would have swung first and got a leak in, he probably could have knocked her down. You know, because they did kind of have a little fisticuffs at the TVA anyway. And the only reason he had won that because he had the remote control watch or whatever. And so I just love this because it raised the stakes, even though Loki was humble at a new reality of existence. You know, it just goes to show that the TVA is not immortal beings. You know, they can be taken out. The whole organization can crumble, just like it was SHIELD or Hydra or something.
Okay. Hey, I'm with that, my brother. One take, you get the last word on this review.
Oh my God. So much pressure. So much pressure. But to piggyback off what B. Avery said, I think it's definitely about, and that's why I brought up earlier this Loki getting the drop on them. Because that's all you basically need. Because they always know where somebody's at, and so they pop up on them and they handle business. But if they pop up and somebody's prepared for them, they pretty much don't stand a chance unless they're back at like the time variant. I mean, back at the TVA. Now, E-Man said something earlier when he was talking about like how everybody pretty much saw this coming, and like the gender swap and everything. I'm gonna let you know, E-Man, I speak for the general public when I tell you we have no idea. Okay, I'll let you know. For somebody who, I love it, man. For somebody who's not just like keen in on all the Marvel knowledge. Listen, I was like, only reason I knew it wasn't the Loki that we seen is because they didn't. I mean, they would have just showed him. Right. That's the only way. If I wouldn't have heard you guys talking about Lady Loki and all these other people, I would have just been waiting for next week. But since you guys are so knowledgeable and know all of this, I'm a little ahead of like the average audience, you know. So when I go hang with my other friends, I'm gonna flex a little bit.
Oh my God!
Hey man, these are best educated guesses.
Exactly. These are hypotheses. These are hypotheses, my brother. These are hypotheses
from very knowledgeable people. So
there you go, man. Get that flex on.
Yeah. You know, so I'm with y'all. Like, I'm excited to see what this Loki wants, because how does this Loki even know about the TVA? Nobody else knew about him. So how does this Loki know about it? There are so many questions to be answered. Like I say,
well, I mean, that Loki found out the same way our Loki did. They became a variant. And was like, this is some BS. I think what they want is, I think they just want to overthrow the TVA or destroy it, because they don't like this. Like, you have control over me? No, F that. Don't nobody got control over me. I will destroy you. Right. I just think that's the motive myself. So.
Do you think this Loki kind of went through what the other one did, but took like a different approach? Like, oh no, I'm not just gonna be sad about it. I'm gonna fight. Yeah, if I can take you out the picture, I can change everything.
100%.
100%.
And that's the thing. The TVA tries to make it seem like there's this timeline and people don't have and everything is predetermined and it's just supposed to go along, but it's not, because if everything was predetermined, there wouldn't be a need for a TVA and there wouldn't be variants.
And there wouldn't be a timekeeper.
Exactly. Right. See, I'm telling y'all. So I went one take on this one now, because I want to know myself, how is this Loki able to continue to get the jump on the? Now I get that this Loki is stealing technology and is jumping in the future and going back and setting traps. How is this Loki able to do that and stay ahead of the TVA?
Like E-Man said earlier, stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
That's it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard.
If you can see the reels. If they have reels like that of Loki and Loki is able to watch his life, if this Loki is able to get a hold of the reels from the hunters or the TVA agents, he can see where their end is. He can simply go to that place. If he knows, okay, this person's going to show up in France in 1589 or whatever, just go there. Go there a little bit early.
Okay. Well, fellas,
I mean, if you want to get at Loki and you know where Loki's going to be because you've seen his reel, go there a little early.
It's the fact that these two know stuff. It's getting to me. I don't know about y'all, but it's getting to me.
Just stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yeah,
the Magic Negroes know stuff. They didn't seen it already.
That's right. The magic guys know everything. That's all I can say.
Special Negroes. Just up there. So Brandon just up there like, okay.
Well, fellas and audience, I just want to thank these great content creators for coming out, spending a little time with me tonight. It's always a good time. You guys got a treat. These are some of the best creators on YouTube. And before they go, I'm going to have them all let you know what's going on their channels the rest of the week. Be sure to subscribe. Definitely like this video and share this video and let people know what's going on. So, Larry, we're going to come to you. What you got going on the rest of this week?
I have a bunch of tech stuff, but before I say any of what we have going on, I just want to acknowledge one little small part of this show, this episode that I thought was hilarious, that they've done this sort of thing with other shows, but every time I see it, it's still funny to me. It was when Loki was first arrested, and they had the dude put this big stack of papers and say, "Please verify this is everything you've ever said." And he says, "What? What did you say?" He said something, and all of a sudden, a piece of paper printed out, and he said, "And sign this too." And it was just kind of funny. It was just, who can verify everything you've ever, especially as much as Loki talks, that whole doggone room would have been filled up. But, the funny thing was, it was like that happened, and it happened, and then he was like, you know what, let me just shut up before I'm here all day with this thing continually spitting paper out. So, anyways, man, I just have, I have some tech I have to do. I just got a phone today I'm going to review, so I have the iPhone 12 Pro Max I need to get a review in on. I wasn't going to buy it. I was going to wait for the 13, but I ended up selling my 11 Pro Max today for a pretty healthy amount. So I got the 12 Pro Max. And I have these, this company sent me these little mini computers. This is a little Windows 10 computer. And this is another Windows 10 computer that actually has an HDMI port that plugs right into your TV or your monitor. So I was testing those out yesterday, and it's kind of cool because they're pretty fast and snappy. They actually this one actually has dual monitor support. They stream 4K really, really nicely. So I'm gonna be putting those out soon. So
inspect the gadget like a mug.
I'm telling you, man. What you got underneath that hat, Larry? Damn, pull something out that hat.
I'll tell you what I have underneath this hat: a desperate haircut. A desperate need for a haircut.
Yeah, he's the special Negro. He putting out iPhone 12s and computers and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was sick.
Exactly. B. Avery, what's going on your channel, my brother?
I definitely will have another movie news roundup this Sunday, 6:30 p.m. CST. It will be another short show because not only did me and One Take Big Dog talk Loki earlier, we also talked about the Namor news, Blue Beetle, and more John Wick 4. So I also have a ton of trailers I need to react to. I still enjoy doing that, and I'm probably by 7 to 8 of them. So that's coming. As far as movie reviews are concerned, I don't want to announce it just yet because I just want to make sure they get done before I actually say something.
I feel you. B,
do you have anything you recommend for us?
No. I think I was gonna say One Take Big Dog was recommending something earlier, but I'll let him do that if he wants to. Actually, In the Heights that comes out this weekend. I didn't get to finish it when I saw it, but I saw about the first half of it, and it was dope. What's his name? Not Ice Cube, but Dr. Dre. He can sing and dance.
Corey Hawkins, I think his name is.
Yeah. I was entertained.
Oh, really?
If you like musicals, it is a musical. It's from the Hamilton people, so
right.
But if you like Hamilton and you like musicals, you'll like this. And I like
musical styling sounds the same from the trailers that I saw. It sounds like
they getting it in. So if you like that kind of stuff, so yeah.
Do they drink Crown Royal in there?
I don't know.
I'm just saying. I don't know. It's a dude from the Crown Royal commercials.
Yeah, that one.
One Take, tell us what you got going on in your channel.
Got like to put little references in there, man.
Yeah, man. You're nuts, man. I should have never let you talk after I heard you talking that Killmonger shit. I should have just ended your career right there. That's what I should have done.
You talk about the true and rightful ruler of Wakanda. Put some respect on it.
Lord. One Take, tell the people what they can look forward to on your channel.
The rest of the week, I know I got the Mission Impossible 1 review coming up Friday.
Oh, he's going to watch it.
Yeah, Mission Impossible 2 probably Saturday. I still have some late reviews going up for Cruella and Spiral. I have a trailer reaction to the new Space Jam. They had a second trailer drop today. And a show on Netflix. I don't know if any of y'all have watched it yet. I'm constantly recommending people. Sweet Tooth.
Seen it.
You said go watch Sweet Tooth. I know how Netflix is with their cancellations. I want everybody to see Sweet Tooth. I'm telling you, it's like a heartfelt, just great story It's only 8 episodes. Some of the episodes are probably like 40 minutes each. Go watch it. It's fantastic. I have to get a season 2. So I'm gonna tell everybody I can to watch Sweet Tooth.
It must be good. Shoot.
Must be good.
I'm gonna have to check that out. Oh, I did watch that show we talked about behavior a while back, that French one called Zero. That's on Netflix about the kid.
I heard about that.
That he gets a superpower. He can turn invisible.
Is it good?
Anyways, check it out. It's a good series. It's like 8 episodes or something like that.
Man,
but it's
so
a
much
good
to
show.
watch.
I watched that one, and I watched Love and Monsters yesterday.
I saw that a while ago. I actually like that.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good. That's on Netflix too. Oh no, that one's on Epix, I think.
Cool.
Last but definitely not least, E-Man, what do we got to look forward to on your channel?
I don't know. I got a whole bunch of random stuff. I just throw stuff up when I can. If you happen to follow me, I know on the community tab I threw up a contest for In the Heights. So if you want to go watch In the Heights for free, there's a giveaway contest, or you could just go to themovieblog.com. It is themovieblog.com, all one word. There is a contest there where you can win free passes. And then there's like a giveaway for like a big grand prize. They put all this fun stuff from the studio. So if you want to go see that for free, you can go check out the article there. Let's see. I still have to work on my Loki episode 1 breakdown. So you'll get pretty much kind of like this stuff, but then a little bit more. I go a little deeper into a lot of the stuff that we've kind of covered here. Then if I have time, I will try to do a Friday kind of a news roundup like B does, and I'll also give my own opinion on Sweet Tooth, the John Wick stuff. I think there was and then of course, I got to talk about this Namor news stuff.
Me too, man. Me too.
Give us a preview.
Recast T'Challa. That's your preview.
Recast T'Challa. Thank you.
Okay, that's your preview.
Thank you.
That's the end view, preview, all view.
Thank you.
But yeah, so you could tune in for that. And yeah, I mean, again, I got some more things that are cooking. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to talk about it yet. So by the time you subscribe and turn on them notifications, you'll be like, dang, he just dropped this out of nowhere, because that's how I like to keep y'all engaged, keep y'all guessing, keep you on your toe. I don't want to tell you no more. It's going to be good stuff, though. So stay tuned.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, across this board, you have nothing but good, talented creators.
What do you have going on, Lamont?
Man, my daughter's finally getting on a sleep schedule, so I might be able to be putting out two videos a day back the way it was 4 years ago. And I've definitely got to talk about that Namor thing, because the whole time I'm watching that, I'm thinking recast T'Challa. That was just the whole thing going through my mind. And of course, me and Larry getting back on the stocks. I've helped Larry make some money this week because I've shot
AMC.
No, man. No, it wasn't AMC this time, man. This is Meme Stock 2.0.
Hey, I made my money. I don't care what y'all do. I made my money.
You got out.
So you got out already? You got out? Oh, okay.
I'm playing with house money now.
Okay. So we're going to get back to letting you guys know that. And I'm going to actually review John Wick. The one that I didn't see the last one, but because B. Avery rode me like a $2 mule, a $2 mule, not a $5 mule, a $2 mule.
$2.
I'm going to watch it, and I'm going to put a review out for that just to let you guys know what I think, because I trust these brothers with my life. And if they say something is good, I've never been steered wrong before. So that's going to do it for this video, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to subscribe to everybody's channel, share our content, turn on the notifications. And until Friday, when we go live again at 9 p.m., me and Larry, we'll see you. Good one, fellas.